Good morning, it's the January 16th. Never do anything out of habit. So, in the majority of other things, we address circumstances not in accordance with the right assumptions, but mostly by following wretched habit. Since all that I've said is the case, the person in training must seek to rise above so as to stop seeking out pleasure and staying away from pain, to stop clinging to living and abhorring death, and in the case of property and money, to stop valuing receiving over giving. MUSONIUS RUFUS. Let's go through this. Never do anything out of habit. So in the majority of things, we address circumstances not in accordance with the right assumptions. So majority of other things, we address circumstances not in accordance with the right assumptions, but mostly by following wretched habit. So the first sentence, I believe, we have a perception of things in our circumstance, in our situation, whatever that may be. And we just don't have the right assumptions of those things. And we're mostly following by wretched habit. So our thoughts and emotions, a habit of ours, we have this perception of things, and it's an unconscious habit. We're not realising we're actually doing it. We're just doing it out of habit, a wretched habit, and we don't have the impression and judgment and opinion. We haven't got a clear and straight judgment of that thing because we're doing things by habit. We say to ourselves, we've just done it for years, done it same time every day, with same people, same time, same place. Let's read on. Since all that I've said is the case, the person in training must seek to rise above so as to stop seeking pleasure and stop steering away from pain. So if we agree with the above, that we think of things, our thoughts, emotions, feelings, actions, it's 90 to 95% of the time it's habitual. We're doing it out of habit. It's a subconscious action. And that's part of human nature. That's who we are. We do things out of habit. We walk, and it helps us. We can get up in the morning, we can walk, we can talk, we can read, we can write, we can eat, we can go to the toilet. And these are habits. We're doing things subconsciously. We're moving our hands. We can go for a run. But the downside is we think in the same way. So we're thinking of what happened yesterday, or 5 years ago, or 9 months ago. We're still thinking about that thing, and we judge the present moment based on what happened 12 months ago. For example, you might have had heightened emotion about something. You might have fell over. You might have been hurt by someone. Someone might have called you a name. You might have been fired. You might have been left a relationship, and it was mentally it caused a mental emotion. So in the present moment, when you're in that place, we tend to bring that highly emotional event to mind, and we replay it in our heads, and it becomes. But what we're teaching here in the training is to be in that present moment, to have a judgment in that present moment, and to be objective about what happened in the past, reflect on that, and just know it's a new thing, it's a new moment here. Again, it's, as I said yesterday, it's about the difference between living in the past and living in the past to create the same future, and living in the present. Let's read on. So if we agree with this so far, in the case of property and money, to stop valuing receiving over giving. I agree with that. That's close. Modern society is getting things. It's not our main focus. It is getting things off someone. That's our priority. That's the nature. That's our survival instinct. When we're living in survival, that's how we act. We think we need things. When you're in survival, it's not about giving things away. When we're in survival mode, when you're materialist, when you think there's danger around, when you're in stress, when you haven't got an attitude of a giving attitude, a generous giving attitude. No, it's all about trying to get things to help you survive. Whereas love and money and property and you're defensive. You're under defense as well, so that causes anger and hate and resent and guilt and shame. And this is the difference between being in survival, living in survival, and in the present moment, and being aware of these judgments. And clinging. Well, he says clinging to living and adoring death. I'm not sure what abhorring means, but we try and steer away from pain. It's all about short-term pleasure. We live in a world of short-term pleasures, short-term fixes. We're being influenced. There's influencers out there, there's manipulators out there, as I said on previous videos, that these companies out there, Silicon Valley, who are building things, building models, building apps to attempt to manipulate us. But it's our choice if we want to be manipulated, and that starts with a thought. That starts with the training. That starts with the training of being aware of these things. And in the case of property and money, receiving over giving. And when you feel like you're not enough, when you feel worthless, when you feel like just empty, when you feel like incomplete, then you're obviously going to be in a place of you need to get things. If you feel like you're not enough, then it's not going to be sustainable to be in a giving sort of attitude, and you're going to want to receive over giving. And it takes courage to give before receiving. And we're all about, our mindset is, right, once I get that thing, then I will give. And it's backwards. It's a backwards way of thinking. what if we give? What if we get in a place of giving, and then trust yourselves that you will receive? Trust the powers, your hidden power that you will receive. Trusting your ability, trusting your creativity. Because when we give, we're sending a message to the universe. We're testifying to the universe that we're a giving person, and we're complete in ourselves. It's all about energy. And but once, if you're in a material, if you live in a material, in a practical world where everything's forced, pushed, it will be maybe hard to understand. And I've gone through this, and I'm learning to move with energy, understand how energy works, and recognise it, and trust it. Because it takes a lot of trust when you've lived and survived, and when you lived in a material world for 37 years, as I did. You have to start to trust energy, start to trust powers outside of you to look after you, to enlighten you, to inspire you, without believing that you need to get certain things. It takes courage, and it's painful. And to make an investment when you believe you don't have enough, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary to press that checkout button on that investment. In terms of my coaching, 2019, up until that point, I was stuck. I didn't have any coaching. I didn't understand myself, wasn't aware. I was living in guilt, shame, unworthiness, lack, distress, anxiety, gambling all the time, watching pornography, arguing with people, feeling scared. But an opportunity came along in January to push that button, that investment, to push that button to invest in myself, and just to trust myself. Like, when you make that investment, whether it is with money, with time, whether it might be for you making an investment, getting a coach, understanding, right, what do I need help with, what am I struggling with, what are my pains, and who can help me. So looking around, and then it could be time. It could be spending time learning a new skill that you've always wanted to learn a language, learning a skill on the internet, learning meditation, fitness, investing in a trainer, investing in a personal trainer, investing in a nutritionist, whatever it may be. But you need to break away from your old stories that you should get before you receive. Your body needs to feel it, because if your body's in that place where it only knows the strategy of getting something before receiving it, you basically changing a state of being to give something in a trust that you'll receive it, and letting go of it, just giving it out, receiving it, just giving it out, getting it back. And yeah, that's it. You can tell yourself through meditation and journaling, but I believe, and it's possible. It's possible to meditate about these things and bring it into your awareness. But for me, it was a case of the practical sense, practical of doing it. I think you have to do it because your body relies on experiences, and if it's not seeing what you're thinking, then it's not going to understand. And when I made an investment in myself in 2019, spent thousands, 3,000-4,000 on coaching with Tim Megginson, Stan Winsbury, Ruth Simmons, Mike Lennon, four coaches. I've understood it, and it feels easier to invest in myself now in terms of time, you know. And I feel as though I'm worth that much. But if you're not practicing that investment, then you're blocking it away. And it's like understanding, okay, why are you not doing that, and what you're scared of, what is a fear? What is a fear that if you make an investment with your time, money, energy, what fear is there? And yeah, that's today's Stoic. Never do anything out of habit. So yeah, being in the book, in the Stoic book, Ryan Holiday spoke about how people in workplaces, when your boss might have come up to you and said to you, you know, Mrs. Jones, why have you done it? Why have you done it that way? And Mrs. Jones might say, well, I've always done it that way. And yeah, it can drive managers, entrepreneurs crazy. And so but that comes with, okay, why are you doing it that way? Why are you doing it that way? And is there a better way to do? Is there a better way to do what you're doing today? And so writing that down, okay, and following that through to change into that better way once you've understood it. Because we can go through days, weeks, months, years, a whole life just doing things, not realising that there is a better way to do it. And the habit gets stronger, the connections build, gets hardwired, and we just unconsciously we unconsciously go to the same job for 25 years, 9 to 5, because we've always done it. We live in the same houses, we live in the same house, see the same people at the same time, we get angry at the same people for years and years. It's a habit. I've always done it. I've always done it that way. I've always done it that way. That's a very common, well, I've always done it that way. So it's paying attention to that. It's not, when we say these, when we have these thoughts, it's like paying attention to these thoughts, writing it down, and actually checking in with yourself. Okay, I'm saying I've always done it that way, but actually, is there a better way to do it? And there's the powerful stuff for today for me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And today we're going to stop clinging to living and avoiding death, and give before receiving. Practice giving before receiving. Give some love. Give some love to someone. Give some energy to someone. However small it might be. It might be picking up a phone call to someone who you've not spoken to for a while, asking how they are, if you need any help with anything. It might be sending some thank you cards. It might be just writing a journal and being, acknowledging what you're grateful for, which I've not done today actually. It's reminding me. So there we go. Upload this now. Speak soon.